Hello and welcome, fellow Wasteland survivors. I'm Dean. Thanks for stopping in for part 2 of our basic introduction on how to build circular or curved structures. In our last video, we saw the very beginning basics on how to build a curved wall and curved floors. In today's video, we're going to take those same tips and create some curved stairs, just like the ones that we're looking at right here. Now, keep in mind, because we are learning the very beginning basics on the concept of how to build curved and circular structures, we're going all the way back in time before there were even DLCs. So, today's video, once again, will be showing the tips and tricks that I used clear back before we did get DLCs. And all the objects that we'll be using are objects that were only available to us when Fallout 4 first was released. So let's quit messing around here and let's get started. We've got some staircasing to build. Alright, we're back at Sanctuary for today's demonstration. Once again, we will be using this concrete slab that's left behind once you scrap a damaged building that was here. Now, unlike our last video, we're going to start just a little bit different. Instead of the floor being all the way out here, we're going to actually start about right here with it. We are still going to build the little plus or cross as well. Once again, we'll spin these floors that are on the sides a different direction. They don't make a difference. Now, this is exactly how we started off in the first demonstration. But the difference is this time, the middle floor will actually be spun sideways. We'll also add an extra floor in on the side so that we can stand on it. And as you can see, we are now pointing in a different direction. We're going to be building the same direction as we did in the last episode, but we're going to be actually putting our boards down in a different direction. Now, once again, the reason that we have these boards on the sides is because of snapping issues. If we were to try to lay a board down up here on top, it's just going to want to continue to keep snapping on the side. And that's why we have built a plus or a cross. Now, what we're going to want to do is go ahead and pull out another floor, and we will lay it down here. Now, the difference from this build for a staircasing is, instead of starting right here at this corner, we're going to start 2 floor boards in to the left. Also, we could still make this any angle that we wanted to. In our last demonstration, we went 4 floorboards to the left. We could still do that. We could even go 1 floorboard, which is actually 3 at the far away end. Or we could go an extra one. We could make this curve as much as we wanted to. Now, once you start getting too far, as you can see, the floor is going to want to snap over there. So what we're going to do for today's demonstration is go 5 floorboards instead of 4. That should give us a pretty good curve, and we can see the effect that we're trying to get here. So once again, we'll go ahead and check our floors to make sure we're in the right position. We're not. We're off a little bit onto the 6th floor. So it needs to be moved to the right just a little bit. So let's move it over a little, and then we'll spin it. Now let's go see how we're lining up. Okay, that's still off, but that's okay. Since we're a little bit on the red floorboard, we need to move it away from us a little bit. So we'll just highlight it and move it back. That should line us up pretty decent. It looks like we're still off a little bit. So we'll come on the other side. We'll grab it. We'll move it just a little bit. And that looks pretty decent. I think we're okay. Once again, we're going to take a little bit of time and we're going to make sure that we're right in the corner here where the floorboards and the other floor match up. We're pretending that this is our corner now. And it looks like we could stand to go just a little bit more. And I think we're okay with that. Alright, now this is what we're going to do. This floor that we started with has to stay there. If we take that out, we don't have a marker. Well, right now we do. But we're going to move those floors. This is the first part of our step. So we'll take this floor and we'll move it up. We'll take this floor, move it to the side. We can take this one, put it there, and then we can take our other floor that we were using for a base and move that up. We can also bring the floor up that we're standing on. Now let's go ahead, repeat the same process that we just did. We'll go 2 floorboards to the left, which just happens to be that red one. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it does look like we're off pretty good. So let's go ahead and see if we can line it up from out here. See how we did. Okay, we're off a little bit there. Let's check here. We're off just a little bit there as well. Now, since this corner is a little bit far away, both in this direction and in this direction, this time we're going to grab it by the corner. By grabbing it by the corner, we can pull it both directions at the same time. That should be lined up good. Now let's check out here. Okay, it's off just by a hair, but since this is a demonstration, we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to continue on. Once again, this floor that we just set this floor on top of has to stay there. So we'll move the side floor up. We'll move the second side floor up. We'll also bring this floor up. Once again, our floor that we were using to set the other floor on, we'll pull it up and we'll bring the floor up that we're standing on. And we're just going to continue to keep repeating this process for a few more floors. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're off by a long ways here. Let's try to line this up again. And okay, let's see how that looks. Alright, we are off a little bit that way. Let's see how we are here. Once again, we're off by just a hair. So we could actually just... Whoops, I think that was a little too much. Let's try it again. Still a little too much. So we'll go back and pull it forward. Or, excuse me, back to us. And yeah, I think that looks a lot better. Okay, once again, the floor we set this floor on, we can't pull up. So we'll take our other sideboards, bring it over. Once again, just repeating the same process that we've done. Our floor that we used as a base, that will be moved back up. This one will be moved that we're standing on, and we'll do it one more time. Alright, now for the next floor to go on, the next step, I'd like to show you guys something a little bit different. Let's say that we want our steps to be the height of 2 thicknesses of a floor instead of 1. So for the next couple of floors or steps that we're going to make, we're going to do that. So the first thing that we'll do is the same thing that we've been doing. We'll pull out a floor, we'll line it up to the 5th floorboard over there, and that's not the 5th one, Bones. I think that one is. And now let's look at it and see how close we are. Alright, it's a little bit to the right, and our step is not quite lined up either. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it this way a little bit. We're going to pull it this way a little bit, and that's got us looking down at it too much, so we'll just back off, and then we're going to turn it just a hair. Now it looks like we went too far this direction, so let's move it back, and let's see how we're lined up now. We're still just a little too much on the red board. And now let's check this end. Okay, everything looks great. Once again, we'll pull our other floors up just like we were going to continue on. Like what we've been doing. We'll pull this floor that's been our base up. We'll also pull the floor we've been standing on. Now this is the difference that we're going to do. We're actually going to just place another floor right on top of it. And we're going to line this up the best that we can. And we'll check our corners. Okay, it looks like this needs to be pulled to us just a little. Let's check this side. And actually, I think we got that pretty decent. So now, from this point, we'll bring the floors up to the 2nd board that we've stacked on top, and we'll go ahead and bring all the rest of these boards up. Now, we can go ahead, lay another floorboard out, just like we've been doing previously. 2, 4, 5. Okay, we're off a little bit. Okay, let's see how that looks. Alright, not too bad right there in the corner. We are off a little bit on that end. Once again, this is just a demonstration, so it doesn't matter if we're off, but if you were doing this in a build, you would definitely want to take your time and get these as straight as you can. And even though it does take a little time, it's not as bad as you think it is. Or it doesn't take as much time as you think it would. Once you've done this a couple of times, it'll get easier and easier and easier. Once again, we'll take a 2nd board and line it up on the top. And I think after this one, we've probably built enough steps. We can take a look at it. Okay, let's see how we're lined up here. Okay, once again, I think it needs to be pulled this way a little. And looks like it could definitely be turned just a hair to the right. Alright, let's see how that looks. Perfect. You can see that line is just lining up perfect right there. As well as this one right here. Okay, now since that's our last step, let's go ahead and take our floors out, get them out of the way, so that way we can see what we've got going here. Now since we have 2 floors stacked on top of one another, we're actually going to want to take the bottom floor out, the one that's highlighted. So we'll pull that one out. We'll also pull this one out. And as you can see, we now have a set of stairs going in a curve that is like a balcony stair. But right here, it's a little bit taller. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit hard to step up on. But that's okay. I've got a trick that I'd like to show you guys when it comes time to put our blocks in, or after we've put them in. Alright, now just like in the first demonstration, we're going to want to go ahead and marker all of these floors. And we'll just do it from the same exact place that we did the other ones in the last episode. Okay, now that we've got everything markered, let's go ahead and pull our floors. We no longer need these floorboards because we're going to use something different. And of course, what we're going to use is the concrete foundations, the concrete floors. And I got to get up on here. Okay. Now sometimes, if this is happening, spin it. If you'll spin these, you can catch them sometimes. Also, you might have to move around a little bit. And if it doesn't snap here, we'll put it down and then get it. Yeah, let's do that. Let's set it down here. Then we'll get up here a little bit closer where we have more control. Whoops. There we go. And now it'll snap up there. You may have to do this for each one of the steps, but hopefully not. Hopefully, oh, there it was. There it was. As you can see, it'll dance around a lot. Okay, how come you're not going in there now? All I'm doing is pulling the left trigger. You can do the right trigger as well. Oh, there it was. All right, you little bugger. Once again, there it was. Okay, now let's spin it and see if we can get the floor. There we go. We can get the floor all running in the same direction. By doing this, you guys are probably getting a really good look at how much, how tedious this was back in the day. And I think that's the white side, and it is. All right, let's spin it around until we get the red side. There we go. They do snap in there, but because there's so many snap points, it just can't decide which one it wants to actually snap on. And therefore, that's why you got to kind of move around a little bit and spin the block around using the triggers. Okay, there we go. We got it to grab, and I think that's the red side. Okay, it is. Perfect. Now all we've got left is our two floors that are farther apart. Now these will snap easier, and the reason they're going to snap easier is because they're not as close to the other floors. And let's make sure it's on the red. Okay, it is. Alright, now let's go ahead and take up our markers, and let's see how this looks. Okay, perfect. We've got a pretty good start to a circular or curved stair. Now, the trick that I'd like to show you guys for these ones that are a little bit taller is that we can actually use, and let me get there real quick. Where are they? They're in the shelves. We can actually use these wall-mounted shelves and snap them up right here. There we go. There we go. Now, they don't snap. They just sit there. So you're going to want to kind of play with it a little bit. Now, I don't really mind just using one. But if you felt like, one just wasn't good enough for you, you could actually put two of these up on here. There we go. And we'll just get it as close as we can without it going off the side. And we'll go ahead and do two. So that way you guys can see what I'm getting at. Okay. Down, up, down. Let's see how that looks right there. Alright, perfect. That looks great. Now what's going to happen, because that wall-mounted shelf is there, it'll make it much easier to step up on to the next floor. Now, once again, I like it where it's just the one right in the center. You don't really need to, have two of them on there if you don't feel like it. And we'll bring it down as far as we can, about the bottom of the wood. What that's doing is it's creating one step that's the height of the floor, and then the next step up is the next height of the floor. And then we can go ahead and place another one on here. There we go. And we'll bring it down about the same distance. And you can see that even gives it a nice effect. Just like in the beginning clip that we seen, it had the mushroom lights on the sides to kind of light up the pathway as you're going up. And you can see it just makes it super easy to walk up those stairs. So this is two different ways that I learned back in the day how to create circular stairs or curved stairs. I wanted to show both ways, even though, probably don't do this much anymore. It's still a great addition to a build if you were, building something like a cathedral or a main hall or something like that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, I think over the last two videos we've got a really good look at the very beginning basics of building curved structures. So, in the next video, we're going to see how to build these structures that we've been building on another surface other than this concrete slab. Also, we're going to build the floors flat instead of a stair step up and down. And I'm going to show two different ways that we can do it. So, I hope I see you guys for that video. Alright everybody, thank you once again for coming, hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And just like always, until next time, please stay safe and peace.